Hey, what's going on guys, G1X here, and today I thought we'd take a look at Takara's masterpiece, MP-21 Bumble, or also known as Bumblebee. Now, this is one of those characters that I never thought we'd see in the masterpiece line just because of the fact that Volkswagen doesn't like their brand associated with violence, but somehow Takara was able to convince Volkswagen to let them use the license just like we've had with Lamborghini and Datsun, Nissan, whichever one you want to put there, and let us have an officially licensed Volkswagen product, Bumblebee. Now, we haven't had any officially licensed by Volkswagen before, but the closest thing to actually looking like a Volkswagen Bug are the Throttlebot Gold Bug from G1. I believe that was 1987. And then 1988, I think, was following where you had the G1 Pretender, which that was very accurate to looking actually like a bug, and it wasn't some type of super deformed or, a Camaro, which is kind of boring. But this guy is exactly what we wanted, and I'm glad that Takara's going the extra mile to make sure we get these officially licensed products. Since they were able to get this, I have no doubt that they'll be able to capture all the other, like Porsche and, Jeep, whatever else is out there so that we can get these officially licensed products. So Bumblebee was kind of like that big step that they needed to make, and I'm glad they made it. Now, taking a look at the, toy itself, it does come with a couple of things here. You can see, obviously, Bumblebee. You have the gun storage here at the bottom, and then you have either Spike or Daniel, whichever one you want to prefer, you want to call it. Dr. Wu does have a set of heads. It's a pair of them. I think it's 20 bucks, which is a little too much, but they're going to be coming out with that so you can make it a little bit more detailed, just because of the fact that this guy right here, Spike or Daniel, whichever one you want to call him, he has no eyeballs, so he's just blank face. It's a cool little throw-in, I guess. I believe this was going for about $70. Some were able to pick it up for $65. I would rather them, this is just my opinion, take this away, and then maybe next time you come out with, let's say, a Huffers and a pipe, or pipes, which are basically the same mold, but, different colors, and they change up a little bit there, and just charge me $80 for the two. I don't mind paying that little bit of extra, but now I'm getting two actual figures and two characters instead of, little exo-suit dude here, which does have a transformation, as you can see. It's not that appealing to me. So that's just my opinion. You do have a face on here. You also have an extra face, if we can focus in on that real quick. So you can see he's got a little bit of an open mouth, where the other one is just... I don't know, it's really not that big of a difference, so I didn't bother changing it out. But you just pull this off the front of the face, and you see those two clips, or those two pegs right there, and you put this one on there. So I'm going to go ahead and move that off to the side, because I'll probably lose it. You also get this little hubcap here. And I want to show you how this works before we get into comparisons and the transformations and stuff like that. So you have this back license plate piece that focused on it, and yeah, just clip my fingernails. It's harder whenever I clip my fingernails. It's harder for me to get this stuff, but I don't want you guys seeing like bad hygiene and stuff like that. So anyways, instead of having to put this little license plate thing in like the box, you can actually fit it in there, and you can see that it stores there. That way, if you want to use the back little spare tire thing, and that's what I actually prefer. I think that looks a little bit better. Then you have a place to store that, which is nice. And then obviously you have the gun there that has some nice metallic paint. We'll go ahead and fish that sucker out. And it's a nice little blaster. I dig it. You see some nice metallic blue paint on there. And you can plug it on this side, or you can plug it on that side. Doesn't really matter. Now, if you look here at the car, you can see that you have a little side mirror there for the driver. Over here on the right side, you do not have one. Now, what it does, this doesn't come actually already applied. So if you look in the packaging with your directions, you're going to see it on a little sprue, and you're going to have two of them. Just in case you end up losing this or break it, you're going to have that extra little side mirror, which I do like. And they did that with Wheeljack as well, I believe. So really nice job there. As far as this guy's, roll, he rolls quite fine. This guy, he kind of rolls. It's not very good, just because the inside of the wheels are solid, and it's just the outside that's actually rolling. But again, this is kind of like just a little throw-in afterthought. But nice little Volkswagen Bug. Focus in on them a little bit better. Now you can see some nice paint there with the silver, some more silver here. You can see the Volkswagen logo there at the top. The windshield has got that silver, and where the lights are, it's actually like a translucent, clear translucent piece. And whenever you look here at the back, these, instead of being painted, they're actually a red translucent piece. If you can kind of see that. Yeah, so I think that's a much better touch than just painting them. It makes it look so much better. And then you can see the Volkswagen logos there on the tires, or the rims there, not the tires. But you guys know what I'm talking about. And you can, you know, this being a light blue window, you can see Bumblebee's face back there. But other than that, I mean, they do a pretty good job of being a robot in disguise. You really can't tell that, you know, it's a robot there. So, except for that big Bumblebee face there in the back seat. But not too bad. I do dig this. As far as comparison goes, only one I have transformed just because I've only transformed them once. I put them into his hot, you know, the car mode and never transformed them back. Is, dude, this guy's a pain. One day I'll get to him. You can see as far as size goes there, as far as width, I mean, you're getting a much smaller vehicle and, you know, obviously robot. This vehicle, Hot Rod here, is, you know, a lot larger than your Datsuns, your Lambors, and Wheeljack. But you can kind of, you know, see how big he'll be. All right, now let's go ahead and get into this little dude. I don't know really what else to say. You can move his head forward. You know, those little Dr. Wu heads, add-ons, will definitely make it look a little bit better, but I just don't know if it's worth the price. You know, it's your money. You spend it however you want. I mean, if you're really into the Masterpiece line, so whatever you can do to improve the figures, then you're gonna do it. It's all right. It kind of resembles what you saw in the '86 animated movie, so it's not bad. I just would have rather had, you know, another figure that would have been, you know, significant or meaning. Let's go ahead and get this guy transformed. First thing we're going to do is lift up on these little panels right here. And then we are going to pop this, and there was a peg there, and you see that little hole right there. So that's what that was. Go ahead and pop this. And I'm just going to swing these out. Coming around here, you're going to close these up now, and then there's a joint here. This folds and becomes the chest. And then you can fold these wheels in. Well, this does pop out every once in a while. So go ahead and move that back. And you can close that back up. And yeah, I believe it's like this. I don't spend a whole lot of time with this guy. It's not that important to me. As far as the legs go, you can go ahead and just separate there. You can see that this whole section just plugged into his butt. So swing those legs out. You can separate here. With this leg section, I'm going to come out. This is going to swing up. You can see that there's like a little notch there to where this wheel is getting caught on. So that's as far as you can go there. Whenever you're in his alt mode, you're going to bring this around, untab this wheel, and then come back around here, and then you can come back with that foot. And you can do the same thing with this one. Bring that around, swing that, pull that back, and just make sure his little legs are extended. Well, there's his fist, so I guess it's supposed to look like that. It's a little strange looking. This is a little hard to get off, but you can pop that off and then move his head forward. There you go. And you can see what I was talking about. Like, he has no eyes whatsoever. And then you would pop this back on. And there's this little dude, Spike or Daniel, whichever one. As far as articulation, you kind of saw it there in the head. You just have to remove that. This goes back and forth. You can see the little ball joint right there, obviously in and out. So nothing in the waist section here. You do have the legs that go forward. They don't really go back. They do go side to side. You see the little mini skirts or little side skirts there. It does go forward with the knee, not back. Or yeah, I can't get it to go back. And the foot really doesn't have anything, so there he is. We're not going to spend any more time with him. Get into the main thing. And you know what? I decided that I'm going to go ahead and transform this guy to his robot, and then I'll transform it back to its Volkswagen. So, you know, if you don't care to see that, then, you know, you can quit the video whenever you want, but I did want to show that off in case there are some people wondering or struggling. But to transform this guy, I'm going to remove this just because, you know, I've already got his gun over here, and I like to have all the little extra pieces to the side, even if it's unnecessary to take them off. But for him, we're going to grab right here these two quarter panels, I believe is what they are. No, they're not. They're fenders. Okay. You're going to come down. Well, let's see. I guess I got these doors. Yeah, there we go. If you want to loosen up those doors, there's a peg there and there's a peg on the top. Same thing over here. But you grab those and then you just kind of come out and down as well. And then you see this little flap is going to flap in. And there's a slot right there. Whenever you bring this around, it's actually going to slide deep in there. So go ahead and pull that. And you see that that just kind of slides through there. And you have your waist section done. Go ahead and separate the feet here. And before you just start moving these wheels down like this, you just want to make sure that this is unpegged right there. So you see where the door is. There is a peg or a slot there, and there's a peg on the back right there. So just make sure you get that done. You don't want to put any stress on stuff that you don't have to. With the knees, you're going to come down with these and then go ahead and give them a pop. And whenever you hear that sound, you'll know that, you know, you've got them in there secure, so you're not going to have them bending back and forth. It's just going to be a solid joint. Because if you just don't put that pop on it, then every time you bend the knee, you're going to start kind of pulling this back and it's going to go back and forth. So just make sure you give it that pop. There you go. Go ahead and come down with the tires. And with this section, it's a lot like the Toy World. I think it was Toy World. You're going to bring this around, just like that. In the back, you see this little slot there. That's actually going to fit in that hole above my thumbnail. There you go. And kind of lock that into place. The same thing with this one. And we got that one in there. So there are the legs done. With this back section here, we're just going to, you want to grab, there's these little arms, they're pegged into the back section here, so if you want to just come down with them a little bit, so you unpeg those, and then we can come down with those. There we go. And then the arms are pegged in at this section here. You're just going to separate that, go ahead and rotate there at the bicep, rotate at that bicep. These little tail lights, they're going to come and flip around and fit up under the arm. And then you can swing out with the hands. Only thing is the hands don't lock into place, they kind of move in and out freely, so that's something that it would have been nice if whenever you came out with it that it actually, you know, secures and it's locked in place and you'd have to snap, you know, to get it back in. The other thing is that a lot of people were saying that they wish that there was some, it would have been nicer if there was something extra you could do with this to kind of use it to cover that up, or maybe if there was another panel that could flip over to kind of cover up that hole. But it, you know, it is a small figure, so I guess they, you know, they are limited on what they can do. But it would have been nice if they could have figured something out. But we'll make sure all that's done. We're going to come back with this section. There's nothing that's like snapped into, you know, place here or anything pegged. It just kind of folds down, just like so. Before you come down all the way, you're going to spin this around, and then this can come down. Now be very, very careful with this section, just because of the fact that you see this these two joints, or this joint that's, you know, rotating on. This is the translucent plastic, and then also this piece is translucent plastic. So you have two translucent pieces that are going to be moving a lot every time that you transform the figure. So I'd be extremely careful about that. Then you see that there's a peg right here. There's a hole in the back. Go ahead and pop that in. And you can see that you got the little head here. Go ahead and push that down. And reveals the Autobot symbol. And there you have a little Bumblebee. And just make sure you got these shoulders up. So just kind of give you guys a little 360. I love the way this guy looks, just because of the fact that that's exactly what I saw in the cartoon. And to me, that's what my masterpiece is representing, what I saw in the cartoon. I had to have a huge imagination, just like all the other kids that grew up in the 80s, watched GM1 cartoons. And then we saw, the cartoon, we saw the fantastic box artwork, and then we got the toy out, and it was just, like this. That's your toy. He's just standing straight up. So it's nice to finally have something like this. And for comparison, here we have these two little guys. I guess they don't scale up too bad together. That's the end that we're going to see with him. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of other Masterpiece figures. Here we have Wheeljack. So you can kind of see the size there. And I think that they did a really good job as far as scale goes. And here you have MP-10 Optimus Prime. So you can see, all three of them there. And I think the scale is perfect. This guy's, a big truck, a flat-nosed truck. Here you have a regular car, and then a little bitty, Volkswagen Bug. So. All right, to get this guy finished his being equipped, go ahead and plug that back in. And his gun, his fingers do not rotate or move or anything like that, but that's good because, the index finger for like Soundwave, for Optimus Prime, it always pops off, or at least on mine. So I would hate that for a small little bitty hand like this guy. But there he is, not too bad, looks really good. As far as articulation, his head can move back and forth, and it can rotate. It's not on a ball joint, though, so you're not going to have any like side-to-side movement. You do have the shoulders that they do come back and forth on this joint. You want to kind of try to keep them up, though. You do have a ball joint there. So you have rotation. You also have rotation here in the bicep. You have a 90-degree bend there at the elbow. The hands, they can kind of go in and out, I guess, just because of the fact that they don't lock into place. The waist does rotate, so you can see that, and it can go all the way around. The legs, they go all the way out, all the way forward, and quite a ways back. So that little backpack is not really hindering him at all. They rotate here at the thigh. He does have a 90-degree bend, and you can see that he does have quite a bit of ankle rocker there, which is really nice. You can go forward and back some, but a lot of, you can spread his legs and still stand, stable and flat on the ground very well. All right, getting him back into his alt mode. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and push this up. We're going to rotate this little Autobot logo and make sure that that is flush. Go ahead and straighten his head a little bit. Go ahead and take his spare tire off. Unplug from the back, just like so. And you're going to come out with this bumper. If this black little piece right here, the back bumper section, comes off, it just plugs in easily. You don't have to worry about it. It's not glued in or anything, so it does pop out sometimes. Go ahead and rotate this section here, and then you can just kind of swing that up, and that is the top section done there. This camera will focus. There we go. Then with the arms, we're going to go ahead and move those into place. Go ahead and rotate here at the bicep. And there is you can see the little hole there, and where it's on black, you can see the little yellow post. Same thing over here. Those are going to connect in, and you're going to have to come down with the shoulders, so we can see a little bit better. We'll move this over here. And just get those things lined up. There you go. And then you can come down with this section, and you can see that that fits flush on the back. Do the same thing with this one. Go ahead and bring that out. Rotate that so that fits flush. Put that on there. And then you have these little pegs. If you can see those. See by my thumbnail. Those are going to fit right up in there and over here. So when you rotate this around, you just kind of bring it back a little bit and plug that in. You can see that it doesn't fit there because of the bumper. Just kind of make it to where it can get the clearance. And you can push those in, and now that back section is secure. Next thing we're going to do is take this section and fold these doors out all the way. You can go ahead and flip the tire out if you like. Do these doors and fan those out. Flip that out. And remember this section where you have that little slot there and you have the little peg there. You can go ahead and plug those in. Same thing with this. Pop that in. I'm going to pop the knees. And you can go ahead and plug that together. And as you come down, make sure you pull this out before you start pulling everything together. Otherwise, that's still going to be stuck in there. And you come back all the way, and you can just slide this back into there. And you just got to make sure you get that peg for each of the doors. There you go. Get that side done. Come down with this little top section. It kind of pops into place. There's that. And go ahead and pop the gun back on there. And there you have Bumblebee transformed again back to his Volkswagen Bug. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. I've had this for like 2 or 3 weeks now. Just now getting around to it, but we'll have Ultra Magnus soon, as soon as I get him in, and a few other things. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.